We have reached the final game here at Curry Field on day one of the Canadian Senior Men's Baseball Championship. And we feel like we have a great matchup to close it out on this Thursday. The host team and two-time silver medal winning Regina Trappers take on the champions from Nova Scotia. Team Nova Scotia headed up, the majority of their group is made up of players from the Dartmouth Dry. Both teams back again. Dan Esty for another Canadian championship. And you've been speaking about it on and off the air. You think we're in for a whale of a matchup this evening?
This is going to be a great matchup tonight. Two of the premier arms in the country, with Cody Rock on the hill for the Regina Trappers taking on Anthony McKinley of the Dartmouth Dry. It's going to be an exciting one. You know, two teams that have been very highly ranked in my rankings all year. And I'm sure they're not going to disappoint here, as we have a great crowd starting to file in here at Curry Field in Regina.
Well, Nova Scotia went 2-2 last year. The Trappers all the way to the final before they lost 2-0 in the title game in Tecumseh, Ontario, to Team Quebec, who finished the day with a 1-1 record. And these two teams met in Tecumseh, and it went a lot better for Nova Scotia than it did for the team from Regina.
Absolutely. You know, I talked to the teams on my podcast this year, and we had Regina on. And one of the last things that Nolan DeZodel said to me was, you know, we owe them one for sure. Great group of guys. He goes, we love playing against them. They're just as competitive as we were. But I'm telling you right now, fans in this park this evening are in for an absolute dandy of a ball game.
Well, Jordan has been an absolute treat to deal with in preparation for this event, and he came up to the booth about an hour ago and said, guess what? After everything else, I actually get to concentrate on our baseball game instead of answering everybody's questions, which goes hand in hand to being the lead person. But this, Dan Esty, is what it's all about. And if you're Regina, you not only want to get back to the title game, you want to find a way to win it. But it all begins here in the first of 4 round-robin games. 8-3 was the final score last year in Tecumseh in favor of Dartmouth.
And certainly, you know, like I said, two very, very good arms on the mound tonight. So I would be very surprised to see that same 8-3 score come up. Both these teams are going to battle hard on the field, and it's just going to be a very, very good ball game tonight.
Well, Dartmouth 19-4 in league play. And, of course, at national tournaments, you not only have your regular league players, but you also have some key additions. That would be the same story for both teams here, including the host Regina Trappers, who certainly dominated the Qu'Appelle Valley Senior Men's Baseball League here locally. Their only tough time came at the provincial championship, where they did not win a game. They went 0-2.
Yeah, that was a tough weekend for the Trappers there for sure, and ran into a couple of hot teams at that time, and it kind of knocked them down a notch in my rankings, but still a very good baseball team that's very dangerous. And with some of the additions that they have to their team, including the starting pitcher tonight, Cody Rock, that makes his way here from the Carlisle Cardinals. He makes his way out to the mound now. They're certainly going to challenge for a national title here for sure. And looking at the Dartmouth side of things for their pickups, they have 5 players joining them from the Sydney Sooners, who have been challenging teams all year in the Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League out east. So, there's going to be some great baseball played here tonight as Cody Rock makes his way out to the mound to start to get loose and get this one underway.
Cody, the 31-year-old from Kenora, Saskatchewan, not too far away from Yorkton, and some of you will be familiar, some of you will not, but it's about 2 hours outside of Regina, maybe a little bit more. He pitched 15 innings at last year's Canadian Championships. Did the big hard-throwing right-hander, went 3-0 with a save, gave up 5 runs on 9 hits, struck out 13, and walked only 3. So lots of experience, and pitched the Carlisle Cardinals to their first ever Tier 1 provincial championship here in Saskatchewan just under a month ago.
Absolutely, and that was a lot of fun to follow that tournament, and so happy for the Carlisle Cardinals team. They were able to get that done at that tournament against some very, very strong competition. And we've kind of talked about it all day, and we during our first game with the Team Saskatchewan team up with that youth movement that's happening here in Saskatchewan, some of the great players that are starting to come up through some of these teams, and certainly going to be a great time for baseball here in the province of Saskatchewan.
So Rock will throw to Chris Unterreiner, his battery mate, wearing number 94, and we are set to begin final game of the day on day number 1 of the Canadian Senior Men's Baseball Championship. The leadoff batter, 24-year-old Leighton Cavalier, who went 2 for 12 at last year's Canadians in Ontario. And one of his hits came against the Regina Trappers. In league play, Cavalier batting an impressive .403 with 3 doubles and 12 runs batted in. 2 balls and a strike. Our home plate umpire is Sean Schaefer from Ontario, Graham Grider at first from Alberta, and Peter Perreault from Manitoba at third.
As we had last game, very gracious of home plate umpire Sean Schaefer. He is mic'd up by our IKS crew, so we'll be able to have a little bit of insight into the game there as well. So thank you for everyone for agreeing to do that again for us this game.
And Cavalier, a 5-pitch walk, and I would expect for both teams, but maybe even more so for the local team. Nice crowd has filed its way in here to Curry Field and still growing by the second, that there's always a little extra nerves when you're playing in front of a lot of friends and family at home.
Absolutely, and I mean, from the last couple of years, the Trappers were on the road for these national tournaments, and now you get the chance to finally play in front of family and friends, and for sure, I'm sure there's as many nerves as there are. There's probably just as much excitement for these guys to get on the field and be able to try and go after this year as Cody Rock delivers that good fastball over the outside corner for strike 1.
The 30-year-old Chris Thibodeau from Dartmouth, a one-time draft pick of the San Diego Padres back in 2013. He's batting .443 in the league, and he has his first hit of the 2025 Canadian Senior Men's Championship.
Just heads up, I'm coming in here, all right?
And the Nova Scotia squad off to a nice beginning here in the top half of the first inning.
Good look at that single there from Chris Thibodeau as he gets the hands out, gets that pass to third baseman and into left field for a single there. So good inning setting up here for the Dartmouth Dry early in this one. They have runners on first and second now with nobody out. They have their number 3 hitter, first baseman Jalen Trider, coming to the plate.
He's also 30 years of age, 3 for 10 at last year's tournament, and a swinging strike and a breaking ball from Rock. I always ask, and I'll ask again, both pitchers very well. What is Mr. Rock doing when he's at his best?
I think for me, that's that pitch right there that was just called a strike. He's going to have to rely on that pitch a lot tonight with that slider. Dartmouth team, a very good fastball hitting team, and he needs that slider to definitely be dialed in to be able to try and make sure that he's going to be successful here tonight. As that pitch fouled out of play with the runner on the move.
Cavalier was indeed on the run, fouled away by Jalen Trider. 3 for 10 with 4 runs batted in last year in Tecumseh, Ontario, and he had a big game against the Trappers in the 8-3 triumph. 2 for 4 with 3 of those 4 runs batted in, and he fouls this off his own body in a 2-strike count. If you're the Trappers, you'd love nothing more than a hard-hit ground ball right at somebody to try and turn it over.
Absolutely. We've seen it so much today, these rallies that start and then they kind of get snuffed out by double plays, and Cody Rock definitely looking for one of those here.
And Cody Rock just missed up
1-2
to Jalen Trider, one of 2 Triders on this Nova Scotia team. 2 on, nobody out. Top of the first game of 4 round-robin affairs for both of these groups. Top 3 teams after the round-robin advance to the playoffs. If you're able to finish on top, it's a direct berth into a semifinal game, and that means you'd play for a medal regardless of what happened in that game. So it just has a different feel here tonight from any of the others that we've witnessed so far.
There's that good slider right there, and Cody Rock finding the outside corner there for strike 3.
It looked like Trider was expecting something different as he was unable to pull the trigger, and you're right, that's a very important strikeout for number 34, Cody Rock.
We'll get a look at that pitch there. Real good location right at the knees on the outside corner, and we heard it from the truck a couple of pitches ago, and probably a reason he had to look at that pitch there is a pitch that was very close to the zone, almost that same location that was taken and called the ball. So
Anthony McKinley, who will be the starting pitcher for Nova Scotia, hitting in the cleanup spot. He batted .333 at last year's Canadians. 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. And he'd love to help his own cause. Rock to second for 1. The turn, not quite in time.
Good hustle down the line there by McKinley. He's able to beat that throw to first base, and runners on the corners now with 2 outs here for Team Nova Scotia.
Shortstop Dylan Edmonds, the 24-year-old, turned it over. Not quite in time to get McKinley, and he does run well for a pitcher. He's a whale of a hitter, too. That's why you find him in the number 4 spot in the lineup. So 2 down now, and the batter is Jack Fader, 26 years of age, from Dartmouth. This is not an easy play. Safe, diving in. And Nova Scotia strikes first, much to the chagrin of many here at Curry Field. And we'll give you another look. It was awfully close.
Another ball that's bounced off the plate here, tough play, and it looks like the last hop that it takes towards the second baseman takes a hard hop left, and they have to readjust, and that looks like that little bit of time, just enough time there for the base runner Fader to be able to get there on time, even with the stumble, and called safe there at first. That was definitely a bang-bang play, very close.
Be an infield single and a run batted in for Fader as Nova Scotia, primarily made up of players from the league leading 19-4 Dartmouth Dry, have scored the game's first run.
Get our first look here at one of the pickups for the Dartmouth Dry. Shortstop Chris Farrow, who plays his senior baseball with the Sydney Sooners.
One of the batting leaders in the Nova Scotia Senior Men's Baseball League, hitting .368. He scored 28 runs to go along with that batting average.
Huge catalyst for the Sooners in their season. Definitely one of their leadoff guys at the top of the order. Lots of speed, able to make his way on base.
Rock has an interesting delivery. This is my first opportunity to watch him. Really comes at the side at you. It's not the typical over-the-top type delivery.
Absolutely. That 3-quarter kind of slot where he's kind of stepping off to the left and then coming right, or kind of stepping to the right and then coming right at you with that 3-quarter delivery, and tons of movement on everything that he throws.
It can be very difficult on a right-handed hitter with that type of delivery. Trying to battle back after walking the first hitter, Cavalier, who just scored, and Thibodeau, who delivered a base hit to follow. Still 2 on, 2 out, top of the first.
That pitch just missing there. That was very close. Rock thought he might have caught the inside corner with that one, but home plate umpire says just misses. Count full now. Runners are going to be on the move here.
And here comes the payoff to Merrow. Strong throw by Edmonds is definitely in time. Nova Scotia scores first. Will set their defense and give you a look at the Regina Trappers hitting lineup when we return on day 1 of the Canadian Senior Men's Baseball Championship at Curry Field in Regina. Anthony McKinley, who you watched hit in the top of the first, is the starting pitcher. Pitched 6 innings of the Canadians last year, all in a game against Newmarket. Gave up 4 runs, 4 hits, struck out 4, walked 4 as he faces the leadoff batter for the Regina Trappers, 30-year-old Jordan Dezodel, who is the brother of the skipper, the manager, tournament organizer, Mr. Everything, Nolan Dezodel, whose team has fallen behind by a run. And McKinley works quickly against Dezodel, who went 6 for 22 for the Trappers at last year's Canadian Championship with a double and a run batted in. Towards Merrow in plenty of time for out number 1.
Good play there by Chris Farrow as he's able to come up with that ball. We'll get a look at the replay here. Little cue shot off the end of the bat that takes a little bit of a hop up there to Farrow and across the diamond in time, and Dezodel down for the first out of the inning.
Here's a guy who participated in the home run derby last night. 27-year-old Griffin Keller, who had a fine Canadians in Tecumseh, Ontario 1 year ago. Batted .364 there, 8 for 22, 3 doubles, a triple, and 4 runs batted in. He's from nearby Pilot Butte. And had a mighty cut and a miss on the pitch from McKinley. And so I'll ask, what's Anthony doing well when he's at his pitching best?
You know, for Anthony, he's mixing speeds. He's switching up locations. You know, for some of these hitters, like the gentleman that's at the plate right now, you know, he's going to have to do a little bit of backwards pitching there to keep them off balance in the evening. As you know, this Regina team is a very good fastball hitting team. So definitely going to have to think through some of these at bats to make sure that he's able to stay at his sharpest here.
And Keller looks at one right down the heart for strike 2. Griffin's had a big year in the Qu'Appelle Valley Senior League, hitting .480 with 3 home runs and 23 runs batted in. Trying to start the party with his team down early in their first game. And he's going to do exactly that. Just out of the reach of Trider, who made a valiant effort at first base.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there by Keller as he rips that one to right field. We'll get a look here. 2-2 pitch. Just catches a little too much of the plate. Griffin able to get the barrel of the bat out, and he belts that one into right field for a 1-out single here in the top of the first.
Jordy McDougall, the batter, the 29-year-old from Lumsden, which is about 30 kilometers away on the road to Saskatoon. Not that I've ever been through it.
Just a couple of times.
Once or twice, yes. Jordy's 29 years of age. Back in the day, he went to Minot State to play for the Beavers. And he looks at a strike from McKinley. Jordy spent a couple of years with the Moose Jaw Millers in the Western Canadian Baseball League, the Collegiate League. We're in the home of the WCBL champion Regina Red Sox.
Yes, we are.
Who beat the Sylvan Lake Gulls in a great 3-game final. They won the championship game on the road. If you ever get a chance, by the way, to see a game at Sylvan Lake, I highly recommend it.
I've heard very good things about that park.
McDougall the other way. And Fader, a couple of steps in for out number 2.
I can tell you, Peter, based on our other games today, looking at the flags out in right center, she's calmed down quite a bit here with the wind. Feels like we can actually sit here now and not gonna blow away down the left field line.
The wind has played havoc at times today with balls, especially towards left center.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the infield, for that matter.
Absolutely.
catcher Chris Unterreiner, the 34-year-old from right here in Regina. Did not play last year. He did play for the Trappers in the national tournament in Red Deer in 2023.
Mm-hmm. Chris has been having a pretty good year here for the Traps this year. One of their offensive leaders in a few categories, as well as giving them some pretty quality innings on the mound as well.
Apparently was in the lineup in 2024. I'll have to double check that.
2-1.
I believe Chris was in Tecumseh that year, yes. He did play the tournament there.
Hit .333 this year in league play. Homer and 14 runs batted in. And this, will it make it out of play? It does. By far and away the best crowd with the host team filed in, and we hope the crowds will just continue to grow as the weekend will be upon us tomorrow.
2-2 the count here as you hear from home plate umpire Sean Schaefer. Griffin Keller his lead from first.
Unterreiner 6 for 19 at last year's tournament. He had a couple of doubles, 2 home runs, and 6 runs batted in.
Quality tournament for the young backstop.
Runner on the move, and Unterreiner walks. So the Trappers have their first runner of the game in scoring position. And here's Cole Baumel from Munster. He was a 10th round pick of the Detroit Tigers going back to 2015. He hit .300 at last year's Canadian Championships. Would love to draw his team even, and just might. There'll be a play at the plate. The throw home, up the line a little, and sliding in is Keller, and Baumel with a base hit to right has tied the game at 1.
Good piece of hitting there from Cole Baumel as he jumps all over a first pitch fastball from McKinley. Rips that ball to right field. Nolan DeZoto didn't even flinch at third base, giving Griffin Keller the run there, and that's throw as you see in the replay there. In the air mills the catcher, Logan Raftis. Both runners able to advance an extra base there, and the Regina Trappers still very much in position here to score some runs as they have runners on second and third with 2 outs.
Tied the game on the RBI from Cole Baumel, who drove in 3 runs at last year's Canadians. And an opportunity to put them ahead for shortstop, Dylan Edmonds, the 24-year-old from right here in Regina. He had a fine Canadians a year ago, 7 for 21. 3 doubles, 2 home runs, and 3 runs batted in his own right.
Certainly the right man to have here in the right spot.
The base open. Off the fists. It'll test the shortstop and got him. Good strong throw by Chris Merrow to end the inning. The gentleman beside me predicted that we'd be in for a whale of a game. This just in, it's off to a pretty good start. 1-1 after 1 on day 1 of the Canadian Senior Men's Championship.
Hey guys, Donnie with Extreme Hockey and Umbrella Marketing Solutions. Really excited to throw this video that we have partnered with the National Baseball Championships that are hosted in Regina. As you know, we love getting behind our community and supporting these kind of events. This is just an absolute honor to be a part of this championship.
Stop in at 1425 McIntyre Street, Regina. We will have sales on all weekend. I will also be kicking around at the event for a few days, so if you have any questions about team, corporate gear, pull me aside and let's have a chat.
Both teams score in their first at-bat. Cole Baumel with an RBI single to right that tied the game for the locals, the host team, the Regina Trappers, in an important round-robin matchup, even though it's only day one in their first of 4 round-robin games. 10 teams here, split into 2 pools of 5.
So both teams strike here in the first inning. As we said, now it's going to be a game of contrition here to see who's going to be able to settle in, who's going to be able to get rid of the butterflies here. And like we said, game 1 for both of these teams, but a very big game for both of these teams in round-robin play for sure.
Jake McKinnon takes a strike from Cody Rock to open the top of the second. He's 25 years of age. Played at Acadia University.
My old league. I played for UNB.
You were a varsity Red, were you?
That's it. 6 years.
They're okay at hockey, by the way, in case you weren't aware, which I know, of course, you were.
Coach Mack put them on the map.
He's okay.
Yep.
Just eludes DeZodel. Thought he might get to that ball. Bit of a soft liner that found a good spot for Jake McKinnon, who leads off the second with a base hit. As Jordan gave it a good go at second base. Couldn't quite get to it. Here's 22-year-old catcher Logan Raftis. .375 was his average at last year's Canadian. He'll lay down a bunt, or try to. And that's a difficult ball to bunt, up and in from Cody Rock, the pitcher. Logan spent 2 years at Montgomery College in Maryland, where he hit .281. Again being asked to bunt, and again the result is the same.
Those are 2 very, very tough pitches there from Cody Rock. 2 fastballs, a lot of tail in on the hands, and unable to get the barrel of the bat on either one of those is Logan Raftis, so he's stuck now in an 0-2 count.
Logan was 3 for 8 last year in Tecumseh at this event, and 2 of his hits came against the Regina Trappers. The shovel over to Rock. Did he get to the bag in time? He did not.
It's a tough play there. First baseman for Regina, Phil Langlois, able to get the ball to Rock in plenty of time. We're going to see here in the replay, just unable to figure out where he was on the field and had to take that extra kind of stride at the bag to be able to get there in time, but unable to do so as runner just beats out the play there to first base.
This will give us a better look.
You can see he went to put his foot down there. He thought he was by the bag and wasn't, and that was a little bit of extra time. That's all that Logan Raftis needed there to beat out that play at first.
For a second consecutive inning, Nova Scotia has runners at first and second with nobody out, and Boutillier somehow lays down the bunt, and Cody Rock goes to third. Obstruction the call.
Obstruction at home. First, second, third.
Well, we're going to have to get an explanation on this call here.
That's way out in front. No, that's way out in front. It's a
That's your judgment call on that one?
Yes, it's a judgment call. Pardon? He jumped out in front of the runner.
Yeah.
Therefore, he's
Go get the baseball.
in my judgment.
fielder.
No,
I mean,
hey,
play it.
I'll let me deal with him. You're good. Let me deal with him.
He can make a play on the ball.
Yes,
he
but-
has that right.
The
Over
ball
the
on the pitcher. He's the one protected.
And how do you know that he's not making that play?
Because I read the ball. I can see where the ball is. If the ball's closer to the plate, then yes, you're right.
So can he.
But the ball's out front of the plate. Hey, that's enough!
Well, we let you hear the majority of that conversation. Oh, did they just toss
Oh,
the manager? Nolan DeZodel gets tossed from the game. Bases loaded after, Dan, you've been around the game a long time. What's your feeling on what you just witnessed?
So, looking at that play in front of the plate, you can see very clearly in the replay there was a bump there, but, and again, it will be interesting to see as you're going to see the replay here now. Squares the bunt, gets the bunt down. Unter are going to make a play to go out. There is a bump. But with that play going to third base, I guess that's where the judgment comes in on whether we needed a call on that play or not.
Chris, let's go.
Well, Boutillier, as a result, is safe. And the bases are loaded with no one out. And manager Nolan DeZodel has been tossed from the game. He's had a tough week. He's tried to pull this whole tournament together. Travel concerns. He fell really ill earlier this week, too.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the beginning he was hoping for. We'll see how his team responds for him. And Cody Rock.
Good pitch there from Rock.
With a good fastball to Leighton Cavalier, who walked and scored the Nova Scotia run in the top of the first. Rock will come home with it.
He's out.
And Unterreiner, that is not an easy play for the catcher.
Not at all, and Rock had to get rid of that one quickly because of the nature of the hit there, bouncing off the plate and didn't have much time to get it there. But good play by Unterreiner to be able to squeeze that one, keep his foot on the plate, and keeps this game currently tied right now, 1-1.
That's coming at a million miles an hour from about 6 feet.
Absolutely.
So the first out recorded by the Trappers is Cavalier on, and the bases remain loaded with one out for Chris Thibodeau. And Thibodeau drills it down the line, a foul ball.
Oof.
And not by very much.
I was going to say, not by much.
Might have emptied the bases if that ball stays fair.
See if we get the boys to pull this one up, but that was extremely, extremely close. We'll get a real good wide view here from right up by us. That ball ripped down the line. Yeah, that's by about 2 or 3 feet that one falls foul. And a little bit of a reprieve here for Cody Rock.
Rock drops down a little further to the side and delivers a strike to the 30-year-old Thibodeau. Played at the University of North Florida, played for Canada in a U18 World Championship back in 2013, and fouls this well back and out of play.
And it's early in this one, Peter, but you got to feel like even though it's the top of the second inning, this is a big point in this game right now. If Rock can get them out of this inning with the help of the defense and they can keep this game tied 1-1, I think there's a strong opportunity here that you're going to see a huge, huge deflection of the momentum in this game right now.
In on the hands. Again, the pitcher will handle it. Shovel with the glove, and there's 2 away.
That was a nasty pitch there by Rock as that one dove right in on the hands of Chris Thibodeau. We'll get a look here, and lucky he's even able to get a bat on that, but a very easy flip there. Much easier than the last one for sure for Unterreiner. We have a pair of outs here now. A pair of 1 to 2 putouts for the Regina Trappers, and they're 1 out away from getting out of this now.
Been a long time since I've witnessed or called a game that has had back-to-back pitcher to catcher for the out.
Yeah, it's something you don't see very often, but you know what? Good on Rock, man. He's throwing a couple of great pitches here and 1 out away from getting himself out of this. He has an 0-1 count now on the first baseman, Jalen Trider.
He struck Trider out an inning ago. DeZodel. And the Trappers get out of it, and Cody Rock will have to be careful. He had some choice words for the home plate umpire.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of emotion here right now as they try and navigate through that. But right now, they just have to make sure they stay focused on what they need to do here in a big inning there, as they're able to get out of that jam.
A huge jam. Nobody out with the bases loaded. Nova Scotia does not score. Hey, who had any trouble ever with a little emotion in sports? Not I. Back for inning number 2 right after this from Regina. The host, Regina Trappers, an obstruction call that ends up with their manager, Nolan DeZotel, being thrown out of the game. And how did they respond? Well, Cody Rock says, I'll take care of it, and throws some great pitches. They don't give up a run, and I'll share this with you. Dan Esty has done such a wonderful job on the broadcast the last couple of years, and with me today as McKinley hits the leadoff batter in first baseman Phil Langlois. And did they rule that? Well, he's just shaken up.
Yeah, he went down kind of awkward there, so I think they're just giving him a second to get up there and make sure he was okay. But we'll give it a look here on the replay. But caught him right in that.
More bone.
Okay, got him a little bit above the guard. Got him right in the side of the knee. But yeah, that one stings for sure. I'm going to give him a second there to make sure he's okay at first. And
the 32-year-old first baseman. What a year Phillip had at home plate. Qu'Appelle Valley League hit .514. The designated hitter is Nolan Bracken, the 38-year-old. And McKinley up and out for ball one. We have had quite a start to this final game of day number one here at Curry Field as Bracken fouls it back. Nolan 3 for 17 at last year's Canadians. He homered and drove in 4.
That home run was a big home run, as it was a walk-off in one of their pool play games to get them into the playoffs.
McKinley delivers a strike and gets ahead of Bracken, a ball and 2 strikes. Nolan, baseball a big part of his life. He also is a grassroots coaching director. This is trouble. And it's a base hit. It falls in front of Cavalier.
Smart move there by the base runner, probably to stay at second base. You're not really expecting that ball to take that quick kick left, and you got the makings of a good inning here. We'll take a look at that replay here. Bracken kind of gets that one in off the hands a bit, but able to flare it just enough into left field, and we see that ball just scoot by Leighton Cavalier there, and runners now at first and second. A bit of an inning brewing here for the Trappers here in the home half of the second.
Nobody out. A hit batter and a base hit. Kendall Keller, look out. Ooh, hope he's all right. That's a tough way to foul off a bunt attempt as he tries to shake out the left hand. The 24-year-old from Pilot Butte, who had an outstanding Canadians last year, went 7 for 17 with a double and a run batted in. Pretty good when you have a guy like this in the number 9 spot.
Yeah, for sure. Kendall had a great tournament last year in Tecumseh. Kind of one of their table setters for them, hitting out of the 9 hole and able to turn the lineup over to get it back to the top of the order.
Did not show bunt on the second pitch. Doesn't on the third either, as McKinley ahead in the count again. Kendall Keller also hit over 300 in league play this year. He was a member of the Regina Red Sox in 2022. Pulls this. Nice catch by Fader, who goes quickly to shortstop Chris Farrow.
He hit that ball really hard. I thought that might have a chance to get down with a little bit of top spin, but that one just hung up enough there for the right fielder, Jack Fader, as he makes the nice catch there and the strong throw into shortstop. So they try and double up the runner at second, but that throw not in time.
Always makes you unhappy as a hitter, doesn't it? When you hit it right on the barrel and you don't end up with a good result.
When that barrel finds a glove, it's frustrating for sure, but take the good out of that and know that you got a good piece of a pitch there off a good pitcher and bring that into your next at bat.
Top of the order, second baseman Nolan DeZoto, whose brother, the manager, has been knocked out of the game. McKinley tried for the force at second, and it goes awry and allows Langlois to score the go-ahead run.
I think there was a little bit of indecision there from McKinley as that little chopper here, as we see in the replay, just over to first. Good play there by McKinley. Looked like he had all intentions of going to first base there, and at the last minute, figured he was going to try and go cross-body there, and that's a really, really tough play from that position. And that ball ends up in center field on the error. And the Traps have another run here and a 2-1 lead in the bottom half of the second inning.
Maybe bit off a little more than he could chew in that case.
I think so, yeah.
You always want to get a lead runner if you can, but the out becomes important too, which is easy from this vantage point.
Absolutely.
See how McKinley will respond, facing Griffin Keller for a second time. Keller singled and scored the Trappers' first run. They've gone ahead for the first time after getting out of a no-out, bases-loaded jam in the top half of the inning.
And that's big. I mean, and like we said, you ride that momentum into this half inning, right? And so far they're doing a pretty good job of it.
There you go.
Check the swing there, no swing, but definitely momentum plays a key part in these games. When you get out of a bases-loaded, nobody-out jam, you know, you try and carry that into the plate now, and the Traps batters are doing a pretty good job with that right now.
Well, you always wonder in a tough situation how your team might respond to having your manager thrown out of the game. I think McKinley took something off. Good pitch to get Keller for the strikeout. For Anthony, that's his first strikeout of the game.
We'll get a look at it here on the replay. But yeah, it looks like it was, I don't want to say it was a changeup, but it looked like a fastball he just took a little bit off of, and that change of pace was just enough to get Griffin Keller out in front, and he's down on strikes for the second out here.
That was certainly not the high, hard one. So 2 away with a run in after the error to the pitcher. Good response by McKinley to come back and strike out a very good hitter in Keller. And now deals with Jordy McDougall, who flew out to Jack Fader in right field. We've had a lot happen, and we're in the second inning.
Just getting started still.
Glad to have you with us, no matter where you might be looking in on this lovely Thursday in Regina. Almost tailor-made for the sport.
Absolutely.
Beautiful night. Barely a cloud in the sky. The wind has diminished.
Greatly.
She was blowing earlier. And that's a tad of an understatement. So still 2 on. 2 out in the bottom of the second as the host Regina Trappers have gone ahead by a run. Breaking ball, a million miles in the air, some indecision, and it's dropped. Catcher Raftis unable to bring it in. And a second error in the inning to Nova Scotia.
That's a tough play. That's one of those ones that's kind of in no man's land, and McKinley had a pretty good look at it, but that's a really tough play for Logan Raftis to get out from behind the plate and try and make that catch. And so bases loaded now for the Trappers here with 2 outs, and it's going to bring up the catcher, Chris Unterreiter.
The 34-year-old now Regina with the bases loaded. 2 out. Can they add to the advantage?
Chance for the Trappers to do what Dartmouth wasn't able to do in their half of the inning and kind of try and break this game open a little bit.
Unterreiner, Fader should have a handle on it, and he does. Long inning, somewhat fruitful, aided by a couple of Nova Scotia errors. And after 2 in the opening game for both teams of this Canadian Championship, it's the host, Regina Trappers 2, Nova Scotia 1. Involved a couple of controversial type plays, an ejection of the Trappers manager, and a 2-1 Regina lead with pitcher Anthony McKinley leading things off in the third, and a breaking ball swung on and missed from Cody Rock, who absolutely bared down. You said he was a bulldog coming into the game. He showed it in the second.
Absolutely, and I mean almost single-handedly in that inning. You know, the 2 flips to home plate to record 2 of the outs, and then he gets the final out with the ground ball to Jordan DeZodel at second base. But just a gutsy effort there, and gets McKinley on 3 pitches there for the first out here in the top of the third inning.
Second strikeout for Cody Rock, 31 years of age, from Kenora, Saskatchewan. Not to be confused with Kenora, Ontario. Completely different spelling. Kenora, Saskatchewan is C-A-N-O-R-A. Near Yorkton. Helps once in a while to be from the province.
Absolutely.
Can't be from all of them. Although I've lived in a few of them in my career. Is Fader, the right fielder, 26 years of age, from Dartmouth, who singled and drove in the only run that the Dartmouth Dry, representing Nova Scotia, have scored in the game. On the ground, Langlois, and it remains fair, which is good news for the Trappers.
Good pitch sequence there by Rock as he's able to get Fader to hit a little chopper down to first baseman Phil Langlaw. And he gets that ball just inside the bag, steps on first for the unassisted out. 2 outs now here in the top of the third inning.
Langlois is not that easy to roll off the tongue.
No, it's not. And I figured with all the French I've been speaking today when I've been talking to the Quebec teams.
You did a lovely job in the interview too, I might add. I was very impressed.
Might be a little bit easier, but I'll have to get my pronunciations down here.
Langlois. This is shortstop Chris Farrow. And Cody Rock trying to find a groove. He pitched 15 innings last year in Tecumseh, and he brought a little hot sauce on that fastball.
And I'll tell you, it's easy to tell when Cody's getting into a groove because you'll see his pace on the mound pick up as you see strike 3 there to Chris Farrow to end the top of the third inning. But his pace and his body language will pick up immensely once he starts to feel that he's getting into that groove. And you see that slider over the inside corner for a called strike 3.
That pitch, in one word, nasty.
Absolutely.
From the Rock, Regina style. They lead it 2-1 going to the bottom of the third. First game for both Nova Scotia and the host Regina Trappers. And so far, as advertised, it's had a little of everything, and we're only on our way to the bottom of the third for Cole Baumel, who has driven in a run and singled in the game, number 16. The Trappers center fielder from Munster, and Munster has produced a number of excellent baseball players in this province over the years. Spent 2 years at Northern Kentucky University. Mentioned earlier, he's a draft pick at one point of the Detroit Tigers. And you might say he had a pretty good year for the Marysburg Royals.
Yes.
He hit .508.
That's it?
Just .508, 7 doubles, 3 homers, 25 runs batted in, and has an all-important run batted in, playing again at this event for the Regina Trappers. And I'm going to guess they're quite happy to have him.
Yeah, I know, talking to Nolan about the kids that they picked up again this year, and it's, they're always happy to have these guys here. It's a great fit for the team and some great baseball players as well. More importantly, even better people, which is, I know that's something that's always very important to Nolan as well.
Well, he's a terrific human. Mm-hmm. Boy, I've enjoyed dealing with him in the process leading up to this event. So happy I was asked to come back to my home province to have a chance to call this tournament. And just a little high.
Oh, my bad.
From McKinley.
3-2.
McKinley against Rock.
I'm guessing he asked me to come and then just asked you to come supervise me.
Well, that wasn't his first set of words.
Hey, can I get 5 balls, please?
I'm going to guess it was actually the other way around.
I don't know about that.
Hey, can I get 5
You saw me last year.
Yeah, and really enjoyed it. It's one of the reasons I wanted to come.
Always a great tournament every year, this one.
Yeah.
Great crowd here tonight, and see from our view here from center field.
Yeah,
That one misses inside.
Our IKS group doing a great job.
Yeah, they've been fantastic today. Fantastic job.
As Cole Baumel draws a walk. Anybody who uses this warm-up music, I am a fan. Little In the Air Tonight from Phil Collins, which brings up a great memory from my past, which I might get to before the tournament is over. Or I'll quickly tell it now. I've always loved the song. But many, many moons ago, in a game at the old Taylor Field between the Saskatoon Hilltops and the Regina Rams, as Cole Baumel will slide, but did not need to, as he got a great jump and steals second base. And down at the old Taylor Field for games that are played by junior teams, as Baumel slides safely in, there'd be no fans on one side of the stadium, about 5,000 in attendance on the other side. And for whatever reason, that song just rocketed off the one side of the stands and came back in. Might not mean anything to anybody, but to me, it left a long, long, great memory. So I can't ever hear that song with thinking about being at that football game in this city between those two great football rivals.
Good story.
Well, I don't know how good it is, but I told it anyway. And Dylan Edmonds, the 24-year-old, is the batter, and McKinley back-to-back walks to open up the bottom of the third.
Time.
Few control issues here with McKinley, so catcher Logan Raft is going to go out and have a chat with him, kind of give him a second to catch his breath here, and a little bit of a rally brewing here again for the Traps of runners at first and second. They have first base Phil Langlois coming up now.
Langlois, the 32-year-old, hit by a pitch. Great to see Elmer Jerkovitz here tonight. Umpired 1 or 7,000 games in his great baseball career. And has a great memory.
Yeah.
He mentioned earlier tonight, remembered he and I chatting at an event all the way back in the year 1996.
I was only 13 at that point.
Thank you, Dan. I knew you were going to come up with that. I, on the other hand, was not. And yes, Dylan Edmonds was not alive at that point. You are correct. Clark Monroe, our terrific producer, and a double play and a beauty. Excellent turn by Farrow. Great footwork and a strong throw. And that'll help you out in a hurry if you're Nova Scotia.
Absolutely. And, you know, Chris Farrow has been a defensive player at this tournament before in the past, and showing exactly why right there as he takes that ball from the first baseman, Jalen Trider, and able to get the ball back to McKinley in time for that double play at first.
Bracken, this in foul territory. Is it playable? The answer is no.
Off the party deck down there.
Almost off the IKS truck. They've dealt with wind and now a big bounce.
It's okay.
But it didn't hit the trailer.
I've seen Clark play baseball this year. He would have made the catch.
He would have. Feel bad for him. Dealing with a serious knee injury. About 6 weeks in. Nolan Bracken. Ball hangs up. And Fader actually had to make a diving catch. I don't know if the wind caught that but it looked off the bat like it might just be routine, Dan.
Absolutely. It looked like a bit of a routine play there, but I think Bracken might have kind of got that one off the end of the bat a bit. But great defensive play there as we see Fader come into our screen now and able to dive and make that play and save a run there for the Dartmouth Drive.
So a double play and a diving catch, and it remains 2-1 Regina leading Nova Scotia on night number 1 of the Canadian Senior Men's Baseball Championships at Currie Field on IKS. Couple of good defensive plays for Nova Scotia to end the bottom of the third as Cody Rock, the 31-year-old, goes back to work on the mound for the Regina Trappers, who had a chance in that last half inning to add to the advantage, but were unable to. Double play and a diving catch by Jack Fader in right field to end the inning is second baseman Jake McKinnon. Leads things off. DeZoto, one down.
And we've kind of talked about it. It's been kind of the daily message all day, but pitching and defense always comes back in these tournaments. And, you know, when you're able to make those big defensive plays to be able to limit teams in innings and keep them off the scoreboard, you know, your obviously your opportunity to win gets better and better. So big defensive stop there for the Dartmouth Dry as they're able to keep the Regina Trappers off the board in that inning. And now it's up to Cody Rock to be able to answer back here and up to the Dartmouth Bats to see if they can knot this game up.
Cody's got to be in that high 80s neighborhood, would he not?
It looks very deceiving out of his hand because of that release point, like we said, but he's going to make the play there and go take it himself. But yeah, because of that release point, it kind of snaps right out of his hand, and you kind of see off the replays and stuff like that as he has a laugh there with his first baseman that, you know, he's able to get that play and go. But yeah, it gets on you fast.
Why not just do it all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to pitch it, then I'm going to field it, and then while I'm here, I'm going to run it over and step on the bag and see if he can catch his breath. That's why he's having a bit of a laugh. No, it didn't seem to bother him much on that pitch.
No, not at all.
2 out. He retires Raftis and now deals with third baseman Noah Boutillier. Right back to DeZoto. 1, 2, 3 goes Nova Scotia in the fourth. The Trappers to bat when we return on night number 1 of the Canadian Championships in the senior category here in Regina. 2-1 in favor of the host Regina Trappers. They lead Nova Scotia, the Dartmouth Dry. The primary makeup of that team, including Anthony McKinley, who is set to work his 4th inning. Pitched 6 innings at last year's tournament, all in a game against Newmarket. Great audio.
Absolutely.
Sound of the plate being cleaned off by Sean Schaefer, who was somewhat in the spotlight earlier in the game. Kendall Keller hit a hard line shot that dipped, but Fader able to make a good play in right field.
Absolutely, and like we said, a little bit of action on the flags out there in right center now, but definitely not near as much as there was earlier today for our other games that we had here at Curry Field.
Who are you going to kid? Those flags look like they were halfway to Saskatoon earlier today, blowing around. Now it's a perfect night for the sport.
Absolutely. Beautiful night here in Regina.
Just awesome. Keller back and taking care of business is Jake McKinnon, who calls for it. And there's one away as Kendall Keller 0 for 2 in the game.
Only game going on in town tonight as all the action at Optimist Park has finished up for the day, so this is our only game left on our schedule for day 1 here of the 2025 Men's Championships.
And after Dan writes 17 articles about today's first day and is up till 4:30, he'll be back with me tomorrow at 10.
That's it. Bright and early. We'll have our daily recap of the games from today up later on our CABC website.
DeZoto, the second baseman, has his first hit of the 25 Canadian Championships after delivering 6 base hits in Tecumseh a year ago.
Nice stroke there from DeZoto as he's able to find the gap in right center field for a single. That's going to bring up the big bopper here for the Regina Trappers. Home Run Derby champion this year, Griffin Keller.
It's fun to be on a podcast, one of your podcasts short time ago, talking about the tournament with this gentleman and Nolan DeZoto, the head coach or manager of the Trappers, who wonder where he's watching from now. Keller gets into one, carrying, and gone. Griffin Keller, a 2-run home run, and the Trappers extend their lead to 4-1.
No sooner do we get the words out of our mouth and Griffin Keller able to find that hill on the outside of the fence and right. Sure, we're going to have another look at that one here in a minute, but looked like a pretty good pitch from McKinley, but Keller able to keep his hands back in the zone, and he knew right away. Bat drops, and off he goes on his way around the bases. Is that one just out of the reach of Jack Fader in right field.
A 2-run home run for Griffin Keller, who had 3 of those in league play. 3 doubles and a triple last year in Tecumseh. Did not homer, but has one here. The 27-year-old from Pilot Butte, a community just outside of Regina.
Hit 15 of them last night in the home run derby in 2 rounds.
Not completely surprised. McKinley, a little extra on it, but up and out of the zone to Jordy McDougall. So the single by DeZoto followed up by a 2-run home run. And the Trappers, in their opening game at home of this 25 Canadian Championship, in front by 3. They have their sights set on playing Sunday night. Farrow off the body, he won't have a play. He got caught right in between, Dan.
Yeah, started to come in on that one, figured it was going to hang up for him, but at the last minute noticed it was going to get down and was kind of off the end of the bat a little bit and did his best to keep that one in front and try and knock the blow down so he could pick it up and get it on to first, but unfortunately rolled too far away from him, so he's going to reach there. I believe that will probably be an error credited to him on that play.
So McDougall on with 1 out and 2 in, courtesy of the Griffin Keller 2-run home run. Chris Unterreiner.
We've seen a few other games like this today, Peter, where teams will kind of open up a little bit of a lead as that one's fouled into the netting by Unterreiner. But, you know, this game far from over. We're only in the bottom of the 4th inning right now, and certainly if the Traps are going to look to move to 1-0 here, they're certainly going to have to keep their foot on the gas pedal with a team like Dartmouth, who has lots of firepower that they can come back with in their half of the inning.
The Regina Trappers in their Milwaukee Brewer type duds. Well, if only the Brewers would win a game lately. What's it, 14 of their last 15? 13 in a row. After 12 straight wins, forget the gentleman's name or the name of the company, but everybody in Milwaukee got free hamburgers, which could go pretty well right now, I must say. Never met a burger I didn't like. Then you can tell. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Unterreiner. You can find a lot of good food in Regina, I might add. It is an underrated city. Unterreiner towards the gap, but a good running catch from Cavalier, who tracked it in a hurry for out number 2.
Good play there by the left fielder, Leighton Cavalier. We'll get another look at it here. Good swing by Unterreiner. Cavalier able to camp under that one, though. Takes a few steps to his right. Camps under that and makes the catch.
Cole Baumel has a single and a run batted in, and he walked in the 3rd. And this one gets away from catcher Logan Raftis. And I don't know if McKinley might be swatting some bugs away. And a little unhappy with himself, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, that one kind of got away from him a little bit. And Anthony's such a competitor that stuff like that doesn't sit too well with him. But I'm sure he's going to try and battle back here and try and keep the Traps to 2 here in this inning. Good pitch there. Took a little bit off that one.
This a mile in the air. McKinnon stayed with it. Thought for just a second that Fader might call him off. Didn't.
Yeah, good play there. And again, that pitch, that's a smart pitch there. You can see on that swing, just took enough off of it that it got Cole Baumel out in front of that pitch. And good play there from Jake McKinnon as he makes the catch and retires the side here in the home half of the 4th inning.
Not before Griffin Keller added 2 on a 2-run homer to right. 4 in the books, and the host, Regina Trappers, with a 4-1 lead on day number 1 of the Canadian Senior Men's Baseball Championship in Regina. A Griffin Keller 2-run home run as you get a look at, I would say, in all sincerity, my 2 favorite flags in the whole world. The Canadian flag and the Saskatchewan flag.
That beautiful sunset behind that Griffin Keller just hit his 2-run bomb into to extend the lead here to 4-1 for the Regina Trappers in this one.
Cody Rock gave up an early run, but boy, the whole ejection seemed to fire him up beyond belief. Hard hit to Langlois. Phil stays with it, steps on the bag for out number one.
Yeah, for sure. You could tell that kind of lit a fire, not only under Rock, but under the whole team, I think, is they certainly took exception to that and going to battle now for their manager, who's gets a break for tonight.
In case you just joined us, there was an interesting obstruction call going back to the second inning that ended up loading the bases with nobody out. And Cody Rock really took care of things almost single-handedly. Couple of ground balls back to him that he went home to Unterreiner, the catcher, for the first two outs, and was able to get a ground out to second to end it. And the other thing I like about the 31-year-old right-hander, he gets the ball and he goes to work.
Yeah, and we just talked about that a couple of innings ago, and I know Clark came in on our headset as he does play with the Trappers during the regular season, but I noticed this the last couple of years about Cody, that once he gets going and he gets into that groove, he just wants the ball and he wants to go, and you see that body language, you see that tempo pick up, and he just starts firing pitches in at you. And it's not like there's no control behind it or no thought behind it. He picks it up and he goes, and he wants to get his team back on the sticks as quickly as possible.
Thibodeau has one of the Nova Scotia hits, the 30-year-old from Dartmouth. That is just flat out filthy with a capital F.
Absolutely. Just a devastating pitcher that dives in on the hands. We'll get a replay of it here now. Just dives in on the hands, and Thibodeau unable to hold up his swing there. We'll get a look from center field now. And absolutely on the swing there for sure. And that's two outs now here in the top half of the fifth inning.
4 strikeout, ground ball, DeZoto. Another 1-2-3 inning for Cody Rock, who has retired the last 10 batters he's faced. The Trappers in front by 3. Here in Regina at Curry Field, it's day one of the Canadian Senior Men's Baseball Championships on IKS. Four to 1. The Regina Trappers will play 2 games tomorrow. They'll play at 1-7. Saskatchewan, who upset Quebec earlier today in the first game of this Thursday, 4-3. They'll take on Ontario 2, the Etobicoke Rangers, who fell in their first game. 4 more games here tomorrow, and other action going on at the other park, Optimist. Shortstop Dylan Edmonds with a swing and a miss. A 2-run homer off the bat of Griffin Keller, a big blow, and Cody Rock has been superb in the game on the mound for the Trappers. Edmonds, the 24-year-old, has grounded out to short and walked in the game. Tries to go the other way.
Heads up, Clark.
1-2.
We have a lot of inside activity going on these broadcasts, which happens when you've been at it for quite some time today. Dylan stayed back and drove it and hit it out of here. Dylan Edmonds goes deep. And it's 5-1 for the Trappers.
Another good piece of hitting there. Edmonds able to keep his hands back on that one and drive it over the fence in right field onto the hill. We're going to get a look at it here now in our replay. Good piece of hitting there. Drives right through the ball and well onto the hill out in right field and extends the Regina Trappers lead now to 5-1 in this one.
Dylan had 2 home runs of the Canadian Championships last year in Ontario. He has his first of 2025. He homered against Manitoba and hit a 2-run home run against Alberta. A solo shot in the bottom of the 5th to extend the lead, and some work beginning in the Nova Scotia bullpen.
Yeah, number 20, Jacob Burgess, looks like he's up there, the left-hander. Starting to get loose now as Regina extends their lead here.
And Philip Langlois steps in to face McKinley. Under the glove of Jalen Trider. That's not an easy play to score.
No, I think that one will be scored a hit. Just looked like it might have been just out of his reach there, so that one into right field. We're going to grab another runner here. We are going to get a trip to the noun bow by head coach Chris Head. We get a look here at Jacob Burgess warming up down in the pen.
He's got that I'm going to take the ball look to his stride. Let's see if he does. Maybe not. Nope, not now.
Knowing McKinley, he's going to want to try and hang around here. He's just out there to give him a breather, get him pumped up, and
All good?
try and get him through this inning here.
Nolan Bracken, the designated hitter, 38-year-old from right here in Regina. Nolan is singled and flown out to right field. As Dylan Edmonds has added to the advantage with a solo homer in the 5th, and then Langlois, believe it was a single, and the ball gets away from catcher Logan Raftis.
Kind of been one of those nights right now so far for Dartmouth, but again, we're only in the bottom of the 5th here, so still got a couple of innings left to kick with this, and right now you want to try and limit and keep Regina where they're at right now and then go to work on the bats here in the top of the 6th.
A rematch from a year ago. These teams met in round robin play. Dartmouth won that game 8-3.
1-1.
Regina ended up going to the final. So in a nutshell, regardless, a lot of baseball left to be played over the next 3 days.
2-1.
Absolutely, and this tournament is definitely not won and lost with one game for sure, and this Dartmouth team is ranked number 1 in our poll for a reason, and it's, they're not going to go away, that's for sure.
2 real good teams playing on night number 1.
Bubble! Here you go. That one all right?
Love the communication between the home plate umpire.
A bunch of rocks and stuff on this field, so. I got you.
Apparently there's some debris down there. Or small rocks.
Part.
Well, I know one thing. The guy named Rock has made quite a difference.
Absolutely.
Ball.
McKinley works in
3-2.
to Bracken. And it's a full count. Langlois down at second base. reached on a single. McKinnon. But an out you'll take is the batter because it moves the base runner to third base.
Absolutely, and you know, with less than 2 outs, you have that runner on second base. You want, you know, if you are going to get out, you want those productive outs, and those productive outs are runners that, or those plays that get runners into further into scoring positions. Now with 1 out, you have Kendall Keller coming to the plate. You know, with a crack here. You know, a ground ball through a drawn in infield, a fly ball is going to get you a run in here.
Kendall Keller, 7 hits in the tournament 1 year ago. Another player from nearby Pilot Butte. 0 for 2 tonight. Hit a hard liner to right fielder Fader to make an out in his first at-bat, and then a high pop out to Jake McKinnon, infield in for Dartmouth. Team Nova Scotia trying to cut off another Regina Trapper run and keep some hope alive in this first of 4 round robin games for both teams.
Infield drawing in here for the Dry as they, at that point in the game now, they need to make sure that they try and cut this run down at the plate.
Could be deep enough to score. The tag. A strong throw to home. Not quite in time. Nice throw from Chris Thibodeau out there in center, but Langlois able to score the 6th Regina run.
And again, we talked about situational hitting and getting runners into scoring position. That's a perfect example of it right there, as you see a pretty good looking throw there from Chris Thibodeau, but just a bit late at the plate. You have that productive ground out by Bracken. Then you run into that sac fly there from Kendall Keller and produces another run for the Regina Trappers, who now lead this game by a score of 6-1.
So a run batted in for Kendall Keller. And the Trappers very much have moved into the driver's seat. A 2-run homer off the bat of Griffin Keller in the 4th. Dylan Edmonds homered to make it 5-1. And Dan talked about good situational hitting. A pass ball played a role in Langlois coming home, or maybe a wild pitch.
Good look into the Regina dugout there as all the boys up watching the hitter, and Cody Rock taking a break there.
Cody's retired his last 10 batters.
I think that deserves a break to sit down for a bit.
2-1.
Sometimes you get a little nervous when a pitcher's on a bit of a roll that a half inning could be a little long, but you'll take it because the longer it is generally means your lead is growing.
That's right.
It's a good trade-off. McKinley still battling. Trider. McKinley just showed you his athleticism on that play.
Absolutely.
To be able to reach back and make that catch.
Absolutely, and that's not an easy play. That was made to be looked a lot easier than it is, because that throw going behind, he had to slow up, stop, and then go find the base after that. So great play there by the pitcher, McKinley.
Regina Trappers have been the finalists the last 2 consecutive Canadian Senior Men's Championships. They'd like to take one more step at home in 2025. They're off to a nice start, leading 6-1 against a very good Nova Scotia team.
For sure, and like I said, we know as McKinley takes the cut and fouls that one into the backstop. This Dartmouth team has a lot of firepower and showing that throughout the year. So certainly, a very comfortable lead right now for Regina, but something that shouldn't be too comfortable at this point.
Anthony McKinley, the opposing pitcher, looks at strike 2. Cody Rock has absolutely found a groove. Strikeout number 5 for Cody to open the 6th.
Pretty good pitch there from Rock, as it looked like he took a little bit off that one. We'll get a look at it coming to the frame here. Yeah, a little bit of a cutter or slider there that he throws to McKinley, and he comes up empty on the swing for the first out here in the top of the 6th inning.
Off the glove of Jordy McDougall. Fader with a huge turn, but you're down by 5. You do not want to take any chances, so he does the smart thing.
That's fine. That's an aggressive turn there. Good piece of hitting by Fader, and I'll take a turn there and see. You never know. You might get an air melt throw there to the cutoff man and flies into right field, and he gets second base, but good on him. Gets a 1-out single here to get the dry going in the top half of the 6th inning.
So Rock's string of retired consecutive batters ends at 11 on the sharp hit the other way off the bat of right fielder Jack Fader, who has 2 hits in the game and has cashed in the only Nova Scotia run. They scored first tonight in the top of the 1st inning.
Since then, it's been the Cody Rock show as he's settled in and been able to throw pretty well in this one. Currently sitting right now as he pitches here in the 6th inning. 5 1/3 for him. 5 hits, 1 run earned, 1 walk, and as Peter alluded to, 5 strikeouts after the strikeout of Anthony McKinley.
The Regina Trappers in front, 6-1. Fouled off by shortstop Chris Farrow, who's a regular member of the Sydney Sooners.
1-2.
Does Chris Thibodeau not regularly play shortstop for Dartmouth?
He does. He usually does. And I know I talked to Chris about this when we had him on the podcast, head coach Chris Head, and he said that, coming to this tournament, they always try and, Chris Thibodeau is such a versatile player that they can move him around to different positions, and, they're able to fit Farrow into their infield for that reason, which, like I said, Chris has been an astronomical defensive asset for them over here over the last little while, and ended up winning defensive player of the tournament when you're at this tournament as well.
Rock rolling after giving up the hit. Comes right back with another strikeout as he sits down Farrow.
That one's just a straight number 1 there. Just couldn't catch up to it, Chris Farrow, and he's down on strikes for the 2nd out of the inning, and as Peter said, the 6th strikeout on the night for Cody Rock.
And he threw that pitch as hard as he's thrown any all evening.
Absolutely.
He is feeling it. He might be ready to throw at 3 a.m. again if you needed him to.
And Rock is that, just like Anthony McKinley, these are probably 2 of the biggest competitors, let alone pitchers in Canada at the men's AAA level. And, they will throw their arm off for you. And we've seen Cody Rock do it before. And, he's that type of guy. He'll be ready to go tomorrow and itching to get the ball from Nolan DeZodel again.
I'm guessing this won't be the last time we'll see him.
I don't think so, no. If they get into a quarterfinal game on Saturday night or even a semifinal on Sunday or further, I'm pretty sure we're going to see Mr. Rock back out on the mound again.
Well, he has been excellent. Big bouncer for DeZoto. Brother Jordan. And Jordan delivers. So a hit, but that was it. The Regina Trappers are 3 outs away from winning their first game of the Canadian Senior Men's Baseball Championship in their home city. Starting pitcher Anthony McKinley gives way to a youngster, 19-year-old Jacob Burgess. Pitched a couple of innings as an 18-year-old at this tournament last year. And facing the gentleman that, for me, has the most key hit in the game, Griffin Keller, who turned 2-1 into 4-1 in the bottom of the fourth with a no-doubter over the wall in right field to give the Trappers at that point, 3-run advantage, and they've added to it.
Absolutely. That was a big point in that game where, like you said, you extend that lead to 4-1, and that's a big jump in a game of this magnitude. And new catcher in for Dartmouth as well as number 7, Mike Nagel, takes over behind the dish for Logan Raftis.
Good fastball, swung on and missed by Keller, who shakes out the right hand. Griffin, 2 for 3. He scored twice and has a 2-run homer. That's quite a way to begin a Canadian championship. Breaking ball that misses down to him. His pitcher and catcher want to make sure that they are on the same page here late in the game.
Full count here. 3-2.
And a strikeout for the youngster Burgess on a good hitter in Keller.
Yeah, pretty good looking fastball there from Jacob Burgess as he's able to get Griffin Keller down on strikes and just straight heat on the inside corner there from the young lefty.
Jacob attended Vauxhall Baseball Academy in Alberta, and this one is ripped by Jordy McDougall into left field off of Burgess, who went 2-2 at the University of Mary this spring. The University of Mary is located in Bismarck, North Dakota. So Burgess gives up his first hit, and Jordy McDougall finds himself on base again. A breaking ball.
Pretty tight looking slider there from Burgess for strike 1.
Chris Unterreiner, the catcher, has walked and flown out a couple of times. For a second straight time, he flies out to left fielder Leighton Cavalier, almost in the exact same spot as the last time.
Now the news for the Trappers.
Cole Baumel, a base hit and an RBI that tied the game at 1 in the first. Always so important, Dan, when you trail to come right back.
Absolutely. And I mean, you're able to hold a team down to nothing in your half inning, and then you know, like we said, keep the foot down on the gas, right?
Going the other way, this will be for extra bases. Baumel has a double. They're going to give McDougall the wave, and he'll score. Cole Baumel has his second run batted in of the game, and the Trappers add to their big advantage.
Yeah, great piece of hitting there from Cole Baumel. Hands back through that pitch, right down the left field line and into the corner as you see Leighton Covelier going over to pick that one up, and looked like a pretty good chance for a relay play there at the plate, but Dartmouth opting for no throw, and the Regina Trappers stretch their lead now to 7-1.
Nova Scotia scored the first run of the game in the first and been all Trappers ever since. And I must say, I think a real turning point in the game came in the second. The obstruction call, the ejection of the manager. Fabulous work by pitcher Cody Rock to get out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as much as you don't want to see people on your team get thrown out of the game, I think in that case it kind of lit a fire under everyone to get them going here. They had a great crowd at the park, and as they say right now, the rest is history.
Dylan Edmonds homered his last time up as the ball gets away from Nagel, our new catcher. Time is called, and we're going to clean off home plate. I love the sound. Here we go.
You good, Mike? Yeah.
My wife will tell you love the sound because you've never made it happen yourself.
2-1.
She might have a tad of a point.
Good fastball there from Burgess on the outside corner.
Well, every once in a while a line seems to work. That one worked out pretty well. Things have worked out nicely for Dylan Edmonds and the Trappers in their first game. They'll play 2 tomorrow.
3-2.
We'll have both of them for you right here on IKS. 4 more coming your way from Curry Field tomorrow.
3 of those games going to involve the 2 teams here in Saskatchewan, a pair of them by the Trappers, and the other Saskatchewan team going to be in action tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
This time, Dylan Edmonds grounds out. A double off the bat of Cole Baumel adds to the Trappers' lead. They'll look to close it out in the top of the 7th. You're watching the Canadian Senior Men's Baseball Championship on IKS. I don't know if this gentleman named Rock has ever flexed the people's eyebrow, but Cody has certainly flexed his muscles on the mound tonight. He has been terrific.
Do you know who you're hitting for?
And trying to close it out here in the 7th, giving up just the 1 run, and he'll deal with a pinch hitter.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Right here.
been ever since the 1st. Certainly with the bases loaded and nobody out in the 2nd.
Absolutely.
Giving up just, I believe, the 1 hit since.
All in. 2-1.
That was in the last inning off the bat of right fielder Jack Fader. He's struck out 6.
McMullen, one of 5 pickups for the Dartmouth Dry Club, making his way here from the Sydney Sooners men's AAA baseball team.
And he's having himself a pretty good at-bat, which has not been easy to do for a lot of members of Team Nova Scotia, made up primarily of the Dartmouth Dry. 19-4 is their record in the Nova Scotia Senior League. And hit on a line, but into the glove of left fielder Griffin Keller. It's one of the hardest hit balls of the night off a Nova Scotia bat.
Absolutely, and I mean, like we said, you like for those to drop in, but certainly you take a little bit of solace in the fact that's probably one of the hardest balls hit off rock tonight. Just right at somebody, unfortunately.
Good at bat, but unfortunately for McMullen, ends up in and out. Noah Boutillier, the batter, he has gotten on base courtesy of obstruction that led to the kerfuffle and an ejection back in the 2nd, and then grounded out to the other DeZodel.
Yes.
The second baseman, not the manager.
2 strikes, guys.
His last time up in the 4th.
Remind fans to make sure you hang around following the game. We're going to be down in the field doing some on-field interviews following this one. So make sure you hang tight following the end of this one.
Does that mean I have to stay too?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay,
I'll make it quick though.
It's all good. I wouldn't have it any other way, my friend. Been an absolute pleasure to work with you today.
Likewise, for sure.
And we'll do it again 3 more days in a row. Unless I get the toss, which can happen.
We do have a few umpires sitting around us.
We
Could happen.
We sure do. Always have to be nice to the umpires.
For sure.
At least when they're within earshot.
Yes. A few of them umpired my game, so don't say anything too bad.
I'm not going to say anything. Big hopper, and Jordan DeZodel couldn't quite collect that one. He knew he had to transfer it in a hurry to be able to make the play to end the game.
Yeah, and that's a tough one. He waited back on that big hop, and Leighton Cavalier can definitely get down the line for sure. One of the fastest guys in this Dartmouth club, and he's able to extend this game on the error to DeZodel at second base.
Yeah, Jordan disappointed. Bet you the head coach is feeling a lot better right now.
Wherever he's hiding.
Wherever he's hiding, and you know he's watching. Because anytime, as a head coach or a manager, you always wonder how your team's going to respond. Well, his team has had his back in a big way. On the ground, Edmonds. Game over. Cody Rock, superb. Timely hitting, a couple of home runs. And the host, Regina Trappers, open the 2025 Canadian Senior Men's Championship at home with an impressive 7-1 victory over an excellent Nova Scotia team.
All right, we're down here at field level following a 7-1 win for the Regina Trappers over Team Nova Scotia. Joining me here this evening, I have starting pitcher Cody Rock, as well as left fielder Griffin Keller. Rock, we'll start with you. 7 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts against a pretty darn good hitting team over there from Dartmouth. What was your preparation heading into this evening?
Honestly, just kind of resting up since Westerns, or last week, I guess. So mostly just trying to get the arm feeling right and ready to go for today.
I heard there was a bit of a threat there from Coach Nolan DeZodel that if you threw on Sunday of the Westerns, there might be a bit of a problem.
No, I think him and Brent, who's the manager for Carlisle, kind of, have a pretty good understanding of what's going to happen. And yeah, so that's about it.
For sure. I'm just joking with you, man. Griff, another good night at the plate for you, my man. Couple of hits. One of those leaves the yard for a 2-run bomb. It seemed like a big turning point in this game, and as much as you don't want to see a coach get ejected, a big turning point in this game was the ejection of head coach Nolan DeZodel. So kind of what did that do to light a fire, and kind of how did the players come together around that?
Oh, yeah, it was a big moment in the game, and obviously the boys got fired up from it. And I mean, he just showed that he has our back throughout this entire thing, right? And, we got his. So that's, we just wanted to go out and show that.
Awesome. Well, we're going to let these guys go take a break. It's been a long day for everyone. Final score here from Curry Field tonight, the Regina Trappers 7, Team Nova Scotia 1. Peter, we're going to send it back up to you after a long day, my man. Back to you in the booth.
Great stuff, my friend. Terrific day. 4 games played here, and the host, Regina Trappers, behind the great pitching of Cody Rock, with some help offensively, get the job done. They'll play 2 tomorrow. We'll be back on the air with you with Saskatchewan taking on Ontario 2, the Etobicoke Rangers in our first game at 10. For our great IKS crew and everybody on the crew, Clark Monroe and company, well done, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow. So long from Regina.